Hey everybody, it's Tony, your body worker in Minneapolis, and this video is meant for business owners and massage and body work professionals as an industry insight video. This is not necessarily available for the general public to consume, so if you've landed on this video and you're not in one of those two groups, try one of my other videos. For those of you that are professional body workers or business owners in this industry, keep watching. So what I'm going to talk about today is my thoughts on the tiered payment system that is showing up in the massage and bodywork industry. So let's first go into what this is and a little bit of background, and then what my thoughts are on the system. So this is a way for businesses to pay their professional body workers more money and retain them for longer. And it's meant to be a long-term strategy, not only for employee retention, but also increased compensation. The background is that this started 2 or 3 years ago in the personal training realm, in some of the larger fitness centers and other gyms all around the United States, but mostly starting out on the west coast of the United States. And the original idea was to take personal trainers, put them with clients as they started out, let them build a clientele, and then as a way to reward the therapist for their loyalty and to prevent them from moving on to another place to get a higher base pay and make someone else more money, what these facilities do is they offer you a contract where if you build up your clientele to a certain number of people on a regular basis, or you're with them for so many years, they then charge an extra fee to your customers that between 50 and 100% of the additional charge goes directly to you for compensation. So an example would be, let's say you're hiring a personal trainer. As a business owner, your contract says in 3 years, we will charge an elite professional or a senior personal trainer fee to your clients, and we will force them to do this at the 3-year mark. So if they're active in 3 years, we will charge that fee automatically, which you cannot say no to and preclude certain clients from. And between 50 and 100% of that elite charge, sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $25. It just depends on the area. You're going to receive that additional pay starting at 3 years and 1 day. Now, this has drastically improved the retention of personal trainers. It has helped build a very concentrated group of core customers, which demand a certain level of service and will now receive it for a small additional fee without raising the general fees for every personal trainer. I will say that this has moved into the massage and bodywork world, and the way they've done it is kind of interesting, because now they tie it to your retention numbers or your length of service with them, or the skills that you're bringing in that are useful to the business. Some, including some franchises, require some additional in-house training before you can be moved up to another level of pay. And this is in addition to some of the enhancement training you can get, say upgrades for aromatherapy, hot stone massage, or other things like that. So it can actually increase an itemized bill per client, and it's usually mandatory after you get to a certain level. I think this is an excellent tool to increase the pay for therapists who basically become a therapist, have been there forever, and are not going to see a pay increase until prices increase. It's good to retain them, give them a plan as a way to gain some financial mobility. It also encourages things like training, which is very important that a lot of therapists don't do on a regular basis. I think this is an excellent tool for them. Some of the downsides tend to be, especially from the client's point of view, if they have grown a relationship with that person, just like in the personal training example, and now they were on the edge of affordability, and now it's going to become unaffordable. Now you've created a barrier between your therapist and your client, and that's never a good thing. And forcing that person to make a decision is very tough because they've established a relationship and now they're being told they have to go to somebody with either less experience or somebody they don't necessarily have a rapport with. I think that's a major downside that needs to be addressed. The other thing is that when you create a system of payments where you have a base price and then you have tip, you have add-ons and other things, it tells me you're not making enough base pay available. So for some facilities, there's a certain amount in your profit and loss statement that you look at that and say it shouldn't be more than 32%, 28%, 36%, whatever it might be. And you're counting on people to tip to reach an average compensation level that is good for a massage therapist. You're now thinking in a restaurant point of view. Waiters and waitresses are paid practically nothing, and they're told tips are going to make and break your pay. It's American culture and the way a lot of Americans tend to do things by custom. I think that system is slowly going to start going away. I think it's antiquated. I think it's a sign that business owners are not paying very well, and therefore tips are required. And I don't want the massage and bodywork industry to turn into that, because I think it's very, very bad for the industry. I think it leads to short-sightedness on the part of the industry itself and the business owners, because it tells people you're not going to be able to make a decent living and you're going to be working for tips, and that can vary widely, so you're never going to have truly consistent basic income. So I think there's something to be gained by looking at this as an option, but it should also be a pretty significant indicator that we are not pricing our services well enough to ensure a reasonable, stable, and gradually increasing with inflation pay rates for our therapists. And I think gaining economic efficiency in a business through the wages and depriving people of those wages is never a long-term good strategy. So for those of you that are therapists, if you're offered this, think about your long-term career goals. Think about what they're offering you as pay and make sure it seems reasonable. If they put caveats on there that seem a little strange to you, ask questions. If you're a business owner that is thinking about this or has implemented this, I think it's important that you review this and see if it makes sense for your business and for your clientele. Anytime that you're drastically discounting services, anytime that you have to itemize bills that should be fairly straightforward, review your pricing strategies. Make sure they make sense for your clientele. Sometimes having a simple price with a simple formula without all these little add-ons makes a lot of sense. The last thing I would want to see as a customer is my massage therapy experience turn into booking an airline ticket where there's add-ons for everything. Or like going to a mechanic. You know what kind of reputation both those industries have with having these weird disposal fees, tax charges, tips, seating assignment fees, cancellation fees, refundable tickets, all these little tidbits that they can add on to make a little extra money. Baggage fees. Think about that. You don't want your business to get that type of reputation. You don't want your industry to get that type of reputation. And I think this is definitely a topic that has moved the conversation of compensation forward. But as a business owner, look at that as well and see if you want to be part of that conversation in that way. Because I think the winning strategy is to keep things simple, keep things straightforward, and to keep the checkout process as simple to understand as possible, because it will help you retain employees as well as customers. Thanks everyone for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.